The index has logged its third session of losses so far this week. We saw some high-cap stocks like Mobil, Nigerian Breweries, and GSK contributing to the loss recorded today. Meanwhile, the NSE banking index dipped by 0.63% on the back of losses recorded in the share prices of First Bank of Nigeria. The bank released lower than expected earnings yesterday, and the market continues to react to that. Now, for more on activities on the local bourse, I'm now being joined by Roslyn Woli, the Senior Associate at Bijel Securities. Thank you so much, Roslyn, for your time as usual.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's kick off with general market trend today. Once again, we saw the all-share index closing in negative territory, and we're also looking at lower volumes and value. But let's focus on half-year earnings from Dangote Flour. It appears investors punished that stock today. The stock shed 50 kobo. Now, for you, will you decide to review your outlook for the stock's Q3 earnings?
Well, the result was abysmal, no doubt. The 359% drop in PAT from 254 million half year last year to this year to 2.2 billion this year. Well, the loss has been attributed to three key issues. One, there are two that are company specific, and then there's one that is industry specific. They claim that they have a debt overhang, number one, and then number two is a supply glut in the industry. And then the last one being the wheat levy of 15% that was introduced that took effect July 1st. So for me, for that industry, I think you have to look at it a case-by-case basis. For a Dangote Flour that has a debt overhang that has not been resolved, and then because of the some of their factory, I think we have to review downward our outlook for that stock. Because the loss they made for the whole of last year is what they have recorded after this year. So I'm looking even at more worse numbers going forward.
Okay, obviously, well, you said worse numbers going forward. Does this mean that we could look at investors offloading these stocks in the days to come, or perhaps the weeks to come?
I see that in the week ahead. Definitely, investors will have to review downward their outlook for Dangote Flour.
Okay, let's talk about volume and value. We saw volume coming in at just 223 million shares today, valued at 2 billion. Now, just give us an insight into why we continue to see thin volumes.
Yeah, for the month of August, we've seen a downward trend in value. And then there are three major things that are responsible for it, three major factors. Number one, you discover that in the month of August alone, we had about three rights issues. We had Transcorp, WAPIC, and selling. That took about 50 billion away from the market. So that has drained the market of investable funds that have ordinarily flown into the primary market. And then we have also discovered that there's low or no participation of foreign investors. They are neither selling, neither are they buying. So that's why we have seen the value declining, coupled with the tightening monetary policies of CBN that has made many of these banking stocks that unfortunately contributed about 30% of the market index. So we have low appetite there. So all those three factors contributed to the low value we are experiencing, particularly in this month of August.
Okay, let's quickly talk about Transcorp. It's the biggest volume driver today, over 57 million units exchanged by investors. The stock also went up, gaining 11 kobo, now trading at 1.41 kobo per share. Now, we know that Transcorp has a lot going for it right now. It just acquired the Transcorp Ugeli power plant. We know it's trying to boost its hospitality business and one or two other things within the conglomerate. Now, going forward, will you also review your outlook for the company's earnings in the third quarter?
Yeah, I think Transcorp got it right, because power is the biggest issue in Nigeria now. And the one way for you to gauge the outlook for that stock is that they've credited most of the rights. Monies were even returned from the rights issue, and people are not selling. The expectation before now is when the rights are being credited, people dump because of the marginal appreciation. The rights was done at 1 naira, now that it's trading at 145. You expect that investors will start selling. But because of the oversubscription of the rights, and because of the prospect that investors see, they are not selling. So we might likely see another appreciation in that stock. By the time there's complete, don't forget that they've already paid their 75% contribution. So clean and clear, Transcorp is out of the Transcorp issue. They are moving forward. They are out with their strategic plan, and I think it will move up, because clearly it's still underpriced at the closing price of today.
Okay, let's quickly talk about the banking stocks. We know that we did see some mild bargain hunting for stocks in the last couple of sessions, but today the banking index lost 0.63%. And we did see some of the heavyweights, particularly First Bank, taking a hit, of course, for obvious reasons. But going forward, is your outlook changing for this sector? Could we see more bargain hunt, or do you think investors are no longer seeing value as they used to, perhaps in the last 3 sessions, for these bank stocks?
You will agree with me that the recent policy on the public sector, CRR on public issue is a very, very big drain on the banking sector. Investors are looking beyond the Q2 now. We don't expect, really, the policy is not supposed to affect Q2, but investors are looking beyond that. They are seeing that with the increase in savings deposit raised by CBN, with this 50% CRR on public funds, all those things are likely to affect their earnings Q3 and then year end. So investors for now are not looking at that direction. But I expect that by the time prices go way below the threshold for them, investors might again return for bargain hunting, particularly when the foreign clients will return to the market, say by last quarter of the year.
Okay, now quickly as we round up, let's take a look at some stocks that you think investors could have on their radar going forward. We have just 2 trading days left for the week. Well, perhaps not from the banking sector, but what stocks do you think investors could continue to see value in going forward?
I think Transcorp will still be an investor's delight, number one, because, like I said the other time, monies were returned, and then the returned money are finding their way back into the market. So we are likely to see volume going up for Transcorp, and then prices appreciating as well. And then look at JBaga. JBaga currently at a PE of 10.3 and EPS of 6 is a very good buy, particularly for high-cap value investors. And again, I want to pitch my tent with Dangote Sugar. At this current price or below, it's a bottom fishing opportunity for investors.
All right, thank you so much, Roslyn.